So I love Rosalia. I'm so excited to bring her up here. Rosalia Torres-Weiner is an artist, activist, and community leader here in Charlotte. Her art captures the themes, colors, and rich symbolism of her native home of Mexico. In 2010, she shifted the focus of her work from commercial art to art activism after witnessing the repeated injustices and dysfunction of our immigration system. Her work is featured in the permanent collection of the Smithsonian Anacostia Museum. It has been exhibited in venues including the McCall Center, Levine Museum of the New South, Elder Gallery, Leland Gallery at Georgia College, UNCC, City of Raleigh Museum, Latin American Center for Arts Gallery, and the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, among many others. She's also in the Mexican Cultural Institute at the Mexican Embassy in Washington, D.C. Her public murals celebrate the rich history and changing demographics of the South. She also uses her art to document social conditions and to raise awareness about issues that are affecting immigrant communities, such as family separation, access to public education, racism, and moving beyond common stereotypes. My fellow creative Charlotteans, here to speak to us on our global theme of justice, please welcome Charlotte's own Rosalia Torres-Weiner. Come on up, Rosalia.
Not bad, Matt. That is pretty funny. Yeah, my husband asked me, it's like, do you think that he can dance? Like, there's only one way to find out. Buenos dias, buenos dias. Buenos dias, Creative Morning. I believe that the artist's role in achieving social justice is to reveal new perspectives, to create a connection to cause, and to give voice to those who are not represented. My name is Rosalia, and I call myself an artivist. For the past 20 years, I have worked as an artist, an activist, and a community leader in Charlotte. In 2012, I redirected my art from commercial art to activism. And I have been using my art to engage people on issues that affect our Latino community. But before I get started, I see some children here. No, I thought they would like to hear my story. Before I get started, I want to share a funny story with you about growing up in Mexico. We love watching American cartoons. And one of my favorite one was Popeye el Marino, Papa the Sailor. But there was a unique character, a friend of Popeye who I love. And his full name is J. Wellington Wimpy. Hamburgers are his favorite thing, and he was always eating a hamburger or carrying a big tray of hamburgers or make a deal to pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. In Mexico, we have plenty of tacos, but at the time we did not have hamburgers. And I used to imagine how wonderful a hamburger must taste. And I told my siblings, when I grow up, I am going to America. And I did. First thing I did after crossing the border was order a hamburger. I remember just tasting my first hamburger, and it was delicious, and I said, I love America. But I was also moved by how much Americans care for each other. I remember driving on a busy street in rush hour traffic and hearing a siren, and I saw everyone pull to the side to let the ambulance pass. Wow, I thought, what a beautiful act of community. I want to be an American. And I did. But later on, I realized that our broken immigration system treated some members of our Latino community with hostility and indifference instead of compassion. So I combined my creative process with community engagement in a practice I call artivism. This is one of my paintings titled Uprising Against ICE, my only blue painting representing immigration and customs enforcement. The blue represents cold, frozen water, a scene of deportation in Charlotte. But how is immigration a social justice issue? While immigration is a controversial subject, especially in today's political environment, there is no denying that immigration policy and enforcement is centered on people and their basic rights, the basic human rights to pursue freedom, security, safety, and prosperity. I also use the art to serve our communities in a non-very traditional ways. I first came to understand some of the impacts of our immigration policies in 2011, when I started hearing stories about children who had been orphaned after having one of their parents, sometimes both of parents, deported. And I invited children into my studio who were affected by deportation to create a kite and to draw their story on a piece of paper. I created the Kite Project. The purpose of this project was to help children affected by deportation to process the emotional trauma caused by the separation from their family members. The idea was to provide a comfortable, fun environment where they could express their emotions and fears. This little girl created a kite with her mom's dress, and she drew herself crying while her mom and grandmother were being deported. They were not criminals. They were undocumented workers just cleaning the bathrooms at Charlotte International Airport. So I wanted to reach out to more kids, and I wanted to come right where they live. I've been pitching my idea of an art truck for several years. And while people would tell me, oh, it is a good idea, Rosalia, nobody wanted to fund my truck because it had never been done before. My dream of driving a truck was fading little by little until I was commissioned to paint a mural for the exhibition Gateways at the Smithsonian Anacostia Museum in Washington, D.C. Yes! I invested the money. Yeah, thank you. I invested the money that I earned from that exhibition, and I told my husband, I did this. I got the money. I got the money. Help me find a truck. This year, 2019, is going to be my third year bringing the arts to people's doors with the help of Arts and Science Council and people like you who believe in me. Through this couple of years working in different areas in Charlotte, I realized that our communities are not just in need of the arts, but technology. Being married to a technologist and learning how to create digital art, I introduced digital art making last year to those who are part of the digital divide with no home computer or internet access. And is Jess George here?
Yes. She was over there.
Well, this is for you, George. Jess George. This is a big woohoo! Woohoo! I recently got a matching grant from Google Fiber Charlotte, so I can continue empowering and transforming our communities. Woohoo! Yes, George. Wherever you are, you rock. As you can see, I use different tactics to engage the community. I create opportunities for people to engage through art, and not just with my art truck, but through exhibitions and public murals. I wanted to create public art right there where the deportations were happening. And this mural is on Central Avenue and is dedicated to the children who are suffering the loss of a relative by deportation. This mural was created with my community, for my community. The Lady of Guadalupe represents fuerza en esperanza, strength and hope. And I dedicated this mural to all the immigrants and to those who welcome us in Charlotte. I wanted my Latino people who live there to feel at home. After all, we are part of Charlotte's economy. This is our home. And for my solo exhibition, last year at Georgia College, it was important for me to raise awareness about the Dreamers to Georgia College students. The Dreamers, as we know, they're called after the DREAM Act that would allow 2 million Dreamers, undocumented students, to better contribute to their families, our communities, and boost our economy. I created a series of paintings based on their stories, and you can hear their stories with an app that I created. Actually, I didn't. It was my husband. It's an app that you can get on Apple App Store called Red Calaca AR that allows you to hear the stories behind the paintings in their own voices. So I'm going to show you how it works.
I don't think I feel American. I used to feel American as a child. I was very patriotic. I was proud to be in this country, to be able to call this country my home. But as I grow older, I no longer feel American, nor do I feel the need to feel American.
Hello, my name is Oliver. I am 29 years old. I'm originally from Mexico, but I've been living in the United States for 19 years now, mostly in North Carolina. I recently moved to D.C., Washington, D.C., to be closer to my partner, but I consider...
My name is Javier Juarez, and I am 29 years old. I was originally born in Lima, Peru, but for the past 19 years, I have been living in Providence, Rhode Island, a place that I now call home. I have not been able to return to Peru due to my immigration status, but I know that one day I will return. I will return to go see the Machu Picchu ruins in Cusco. I will return.
And I have friends. If you are interested to listen to their stories, you guys can come to me or my husband, and after you download the free app. And for your information, this only works for iPhones and iPads. Sorry. I hope today I have helped you to understand immigration as a social justice issue. I also hope that I have revealed new perspectives, created a connection to cause, and given voice to those who are not represented, to a beautiful audience like you who are listening. If I have done any of those things, then I have done my job. Are you ready to do your job? You didn't think I was going to give you homework. If any of these stories have inspired you or touched your heart, then I would ask you to consider donating your time, talent, or money to one of the many organizations who help immigrants in Charlotte. We are in perhaps the most challenging environment that immigrants have seen in generations. And I want you to know that this is not happening far away on the borders of Texas and Arizona. The immigrants are here in Charlotte who need your help. Please contact the Latin American Coalition, International House, or friend me on Facebook so I can connect you with a volunteer group who helps undocumented migrants in Charlotte. Now let's come together again. Take another deep breath in. And remember that we are all on the same journey together. Thank you.
Rosalia Torres-Weiner, everybody!
What's up, Nancy?
That's it!